I'm Chris Berman. Well, let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Packers narrowly coming out on top by 5. Randy Moss hauled in over 150 yards receiving and helped his Vikings beat the Redskins. In the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, we had the Eagles edge their way to a narrow 3-point win. Up in Seattle Stadium, we had the Seahawks edge their way to a narrow 3-point win. The Falcons had over 100 return yards in their victory at Reliant Stadium. The Ravens won on the road and will head into their bye week on a high note. Chargers, Jaguars. Cook is so dangerous with his speed. The ball at the 27-yard line. And there's a little stutter step, and he's wide open. Touchdown! The Chargers go on to win this by the final score of 45-28. On the east side of the bay in Oakland, we had the Raiders walk away with a 6-point victory. Santana Moss pulled down 100-plus receiving yards and helped his Jets beat the Buccaneers. Over at Gillette Stadium, we had the Patriots come away with a 7-point win. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris. Let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. Porter will be moving on from his current address, and he gets a pretty good deal to do it. 6 years, $6.4 million. Hughes is also on the move as he signs a robust 5-year contract with the Raiders. This guy is on the move. Perhaps not for all that he thought he'd get, but a good deal nonetheless. 4 years, $1.0 million. Over now to news of a trade that might have some ramifications. Aaron Schobel leaves the Bills and is on the move to the Colts, so he should be a great addition to that defensive line from his slot as an outside pass rusher. In exchange, they'll get someone to beef up their roster. Gary Brackett is someone whose versatility is certainly appealing, as he can play both the run or the pass from his linebacker spot.
The Bengals got 300-plus yards from their offense in their victory at Giant Stadium. The Lions won on the road and will head into their bye week on a high note. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris, thanks. Luckily, we had a relatively injury-free week, which makes my job just that much easier. Rod Walker sticks out on this list as one of the more costly injuries. A stress fracture in his lower leg is causing problems, and the doctors are saying he'll be out for 8 weeks. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
And last but not least, we had the Rams come away victorious. So another week in the books here on ESPN, but what do you say we hand out a few game balls before we go? Here's my primetime players. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.